Go ahead.
Good day, everyone, and welcome to True Vision of Peace. This is Ambassador speaking this time, and now this time I'm not the one that normally getting asked the question. Now I'm going to do some introduction for some very special ladies and some other people that's online, and it's the yes ladies that we want to talk about and talk with, and we wanted to hear what they have to say. And also is a yes man, also representing a yes lady, yeah. So and also we have Dave also Schmidt with us. That he is also together with one of the yes ladies, so he's one of the guys that doesn't need to be traumatized with a no, and so that's very good. So what I wanted to do is to have you, Charla, introduce your group of yes ladies and what is your mission there with your radio program, and also that I understood that actually this yes lady concept came to its birth basically in China. That's quite interesting. Together we had your latest trip there in China, and with a meeting with the family people, and so maybe you would like to talk a little bit about your new concept, your new vision of yes ladies, and introduce your great friends.
Okay, thank you, and thank you very much for including us here on this this talk. The yes ladies concept. Yes, I had the yes lady is a domain that I actually had for another company that I had, and it just kind of evolved from there when we started talking in China. But I want to introduce, first of all, Mary Beth is right here next to me, and Mary Beth lives up in the Northeast. And Mary Beth, do you want to just say hi, and then I'll introduce the rest, and we'll come back.
Hello, good morning, everybody.
Good morning.
So proud to be part of this team.
So happy to see you. Okay. And Lucy lives up in the Northeast, and they've hopefully gotten less snow now, or thawing out a little bit. But so it came to Fort Worth. That's where the snow's been now lately. Lucy, hi.
Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be in this call and to be part of all this yes ladies concept, and new coming and full of joy and happiness.
Yes, you are full of that. I have Adele and Audain were also in China with us, and Adele is a pastor. She's actually preaching right now. So we have Audain, when I call Mr. Yes, has joined us as well. So Audain, you were in China with us. Will you say hello this morning? Is he around? Where did Audain go?
There he is.
Oh, there we are.
Yeah. It looked like my internet going in and out.
Well, you are in the Virgin Islands, and you and Adele pastor a big church down there and have much to offer, and we just love having Mr. Yes with us. He was such a stabilizing, calming force in our 6 folks that we had on in China just recently. So I want to just say hi, Dane.
Hi.
And so we're going to come back around. But the main thing is that what happened is that there was a workshop that Dave has, and Dave is on here. Dave Schmidt, you might as well just, everybody knows you, but just say hi. And this was our group that was in China together. And now we get
just saying hi to everybody. Charla, you're doing a great job of just handling this. So this is one where I just get to sit back and be an observer. So.
Yeah, but we followed, the yes people followed Dave too, and we ended up in China. So what an amazing turn of events, really. So at your Boston workshop, I met some of these ladies and Audain, and about a few days later, it occurred to me that I wanted to create my radio show, the Charla A show, and see how it could actually complement your show, the Sedona Connection, and your workshops. So I created this little group of calls. We were just going to have it was called the Lovely Ladies Inquiry. How can I change the format of my show, which has been guest driven, to be more message driven instead of I've been having some amazing guests, but it's just each week is a different theme and nothing cohesive. And so I had this little call with some of my friends, and then also these ladies and a few others were invited, but and it became it took a life of its own. The group itself had such an energy and such a place of just amazing excitement. And so we decided to have another call, and it evolved into not so much about what my show was about, but about I invited the ambassador, I mentioned it to the ambassador, and he said he would like to meet the ladies on the call as well. And we're talking about really fast. Okay, the Boston workshop, then the call, then the ambassador was on the call, and then he said. On that call, he invited everyone to go to China because we were leaving in about 3 days to go to China. And 2 said yes, and that was Adele and Audane, and they showed up and had their tickets and everything by the next day. And Mary Beth said, no way. And she was the grandbabies being born. She's the epitome of the matriarch of a beautiful family, and she just couldn't see herself leaving. And she said, and we talked, and I kept saying, I keep seeing you there. You need to be there somehow. And so she shifted to a yes, and her family supported her so strongly, and so did Lucy's family. And things came together very well. So when you are on a call on Friday, you're leaving. We didn't know if we were going to leave on Sunday or Monday or Tuesday. We ended up, I think, leaving Tuesday, but it was really fast to get a group of people together. And we showed up. It was the least amount of stress and drama. Dave and I are always talking about pushing the easy button, and we just chose easy, and it just worked perfectly. We were in China for about 3 weeks, I think, and while we were, that was just, that's interesting. We got to do some wonderful things, and including meeting some of the family members, including setting up some business structures and creating companies over there. Mr. Ambassador, is there something you want specifically?
Yes. Yeah, what I would like to do is, because it's you and Dave. It's not the first time that you met with some of these people, and but it was also the first time for the others that they came to China, and and they met with. Let's use the word, what do we call him, the fairy godmother?
He was so fun. He stood up and he helped us so
He actually was.
Yeah, let's hope he doesn't feel offended. He's the guy who doesn't like to have too much, audience. So let's use the fairy godmother as a name for him. But he is a very wonderful person, and he is a very, very special person also. So it was nice for all of you to meet with him. I actually miss him a lot. This is a very close person to myself, and it's now been a while since I saw him last time. So he's always a person that makes a great impact, and he's a very knowledgeable person. And I was very happy that he came and embraced you all the way that he did, and assisted you with all the things that you needed to be taking place. But soon we all gonna see each other again either way, so it's not that far away from that time. But it would be nice to hear if we start with the ladies there, for example, Mary Beth, if you could tell a little bit about your experience in your time in China, and then we go on to Lucy and to the yes man. And
okay. Yes to you.
Yeah.
Sure, I'd be happy to. As Charla said, this was a pretty traumatizing event for me because, I had two granddaughters that were due to be born, and the thought of not being here for the birth of one of my grandchildren was it was just unthinkable for me. And so anyway, something inside of me, I just don't know, other than divine intervention, told me that I really needed to do this. And with the support of my son and my daughter-in-law, I left home and went to China. And while I was there, my beautiful little granddaughter was born. So I had to wait 2 weeks to see her, which was really a tough thing. But, my son said the most wonderful thing. He said, "Mom, you can stay here and enjoy the birth of one baby, or you can go to China and possibly have the opportunity to affect the lives of millions of children." And when those words came out of him, I just knew that it was the right thing. So, I I decided to go, and the most wonderful thing was I found Lucy, who actually lives just, maybe 100 miles from me. So we were able to be travel partners, and it was amazing, such different backgrounds, such diversity in age and just everything. But we just feel like absolute soul sisters, and we were fortunate enough to room together and learn a lot about each other and our goals and our passions. And from there, everything else was just it's just absolutely like a miracle. I felt that we did a lot of clearing while we were there. We did a lot of praying. We met the most wonderful fairy godmother in the world. I mean, he is just pure love. When you hold him and give him a hug, you feel nothing but pure light and love from this individual. And I really hope that I get to meet him again. And had some really enlightening conversations with you, Mr. Ambassador, and actually fell in love with China and the people. I found them to be extremely warm and very emotional people. And, I'm glad that we had that introduction. And now it's really, in my mind, it's time to move forward and start our projects and, letting these yes ladies loose to go out there and really change the world and share the love and nurture the children and the elderly and just bring hope to people and let their passions shine through. And I just know that once people feel free, all of their goodness, all of their passions, all of their love is going to come to the surface, and we are going to create a wonderful world. And thank you for all that you're doing to help us with that.
Thank you very much. And it was wonderful to hear your testimony of your trip. Okay. And, we will soon meet each other again. And, we were going to have some good time with fairy godmother and all others too. So now I would like to hear from you, Lucy. Could you please give your testimony about your journey?
Yes. Well, when you had invited us, I already had a yes in my mind, because I just know that I needed to come. It was a nice way over there. Me and Maribeth had much fun from the minute we met. And getting over there to China, it was amazing. Seeing everybody being so loving and giving us so much love just because we were different. Once there, I have a little story. I was so nervous to meet Miss the godmother.
God, fairy mother or whatever. I know.
I was nervous, but it was that nervousness. Once I saw him, it went so down and it made me such peace inside. It was like, I was like, oh my God. And then it was just so nice and calming to meet him once. And then he was taking us somewhere to get our visas, and he was counting us all the way there to see if we were there. I was like, oh my God, who are we? What are we? It was so nice to be able to I don't know who was taking care of who at that point. I was like, this is just too amazing that we're all so not knowing each other and just taking care of each other. It was so nice to me. And it's over there so nice to be able to hear you talk to us and tell Mr. Ambassador about your stories, and it actually, you know, empowered us a little bit more to where our journey is, because I know that I'm going to be just helping humanity in a bigger state. And I am so grateful that I met all those 6 people and plus, and I can't wait to be with everybody again.
Very good. No, I just wanted to say also it's quite interesting because, we were on, the program with, the conference with Dave, okay, that he had in was it Boston? If I'm not remembering incorrect. I think it was Boston. Boston workshop. And it's normally it was a short second passing by all the people. I saw this red hair popping up, and something stated to me that I needed to address this person, and basically that I did. Okay, and after that we talked. Yes, then, and then you were on the journey, and basically now you here doing the mission. And I think that it's important the way that God guides us. I mean, maybe after we are finished with talking to yes sir, we will we can ask maybe Radagast to explain something about like certain gifts that, for example, that we are using, or that maybe we have to find certain things. And this is a spiritual journey, and some people have possibility to vision and see things in visions and see things in another way than other people maybe do. And and this is a part of our gifts when we are created, and gifts that that we maybe also can even learn to empower. And this is a part of the journey. So it's wonderful to see the testimony, how everything come a place, and how God can bring us on this journey that we would never expect. Okay, and that's why I always used to say to and also what Dave is saying during his workshop, to expect unexpected. And basically this is what people have to do, is that sometimes things is not happening the way that we were planning, and it leads to something else, because this is a part of a journey and a part of a learning process in life. Okay, like I usually call the human experiment sometimes. And it's we have to be a part of this human experiment in the goldfish ball. I'm gonna show you some nice picture later on. But it's important to follow your heart and your spirit, and you see it leads you all the way from New York to Hong Kong and then to China. So I mean, it's an amazing thing. And I heard that you were quite popular also as a movie star, and by the Chinese rock star. So next time maybe we should even record this even more the journey. I don't know, maybe we could share some photos later with from the journey. It would be nice to do, and so people can see. So people could see.
Them dancing. I just saw the other day.
Is our great friend there with us from the Virgin Islands still?
Dane?
Yes.
Yeah. Good morning. If you would please share with you a little bit of your experience in Hong Kong and China.
Yes, I believe it was fully of God. It started out, I was doing some work around our home, and my wife, after she came out of the conference or the meeting with Charla, she said to me, how would you like to go to China? I said, yeah, we always want to go to China. She said, I'm talking about in the next 2 days. I said, what? The guy was so surprised. And so I said, well, if you get the tickets, I'll go. She told me what it's all about and all that. So I said, well, if you get a ticket, I'll go. said, Mr. Ambassador, invite us over. I said, sure, no problem. You find the ticket because a ticket is hard to find from St. Thomas to the mainland, main states. So I know most of the time around this time of year, the airlines are always booked. So next couple hours, she came back, she said, I found the ticket. I said, well, we heading for China. And to me, it was like a move of God, setting everything up in place. We got seats all the way. And when we get there, we met Dave and Charla at Seattle Airport. And there again, it was just amazing. You know, the energy they had, the excitement. And then when we get to Hong Kong, we met Lucy and Mary Beth, and you know, we all bonded together, and from there it was just like downstream. Everything went so smooth, and we enjoyed the love that each other had. We enjoyed China, we enjoyed Hong Kong, and I mean, it was something that I never could have thought that will happen, for people meeting for the first time and bonding together so well and enjoying the country. And then when we met our fairy godmother, you know, he was so pleasant, so kind. We couldn't stop talking about how well he treated us, how warm, because nobody know what to expect. So he make everyone feel so comfortable at home, and a big smile, big hug, big kisses. So, you know, it's again, it was so amazing how it turned out and how much fun we had seeing the different sites. It's, you know, ordinary person can comprehend the impact it was, and the vision that we have, and the vision that all of us have together, and how it will make a change in this world. And that's what we're looking for. We're all looking for that, the change in the government, change in the people's lives. You know, you see all type of people broken and need some help and need to be uplifted. All the change that we feel that we'll be making in other people's lives, that's amazing. And
no, it was. I think this is a living testimony also, and this is what I want to bring forward with this new mission that we have with True Vision of Peace, is to show that people from all races, all backgrounds, all walks of life, even religious differences, could even meet each other and spend time together and find this special common, like to bond each other like a big family. And that's what we need. And I think this group was a living testimony for that, and also engaging with the different cultures and mindsets. And I think this is a nice, wonderful, thing that we want to build on. Is basically to build on this bondage which we are now doing here with all different nations and all different countries and all walks of life, and that it's not important, who you are by titles. It's basically important what you live by and your actions, and that's basically what is important, is to focus on unifying, focus on working together, and focus on making the changes that we need so much on the planet and on this earth, And so it's nice to see this and to hear these testimonies from all of you. And, and I hope that they will inspire people that is listening to this program to walk the same path and join us in this struggle that we need to, win over and basically overcome this beast that has been traumatizing the planet for too long time.
Mr. Ambassador, a couple of things I want to add. First of all, the fairy godmother went extremely out of his way to help us and come back and help us and all that. And it was, in a very, very busy time. We were there at Chinese New Year, and had got to experience a little bit of that and how exciting that was. The whole trip, it was so divinely guided. I believe that we just could not have, there was zero drama, which, you get a whole group of people that really don't know each other, and spent a lot of time, and a lot of it was just waiting and just getting to know each other. I can say that the room in that hotel will never be the same again, as much laughing and praying and shofar blowing and all that we had. So it took on a life of its own. And, we did, like I said, we were doing a lot of waiting, and, we all paid our way. I just like to say that this was not something that the family paid for. You open the door, you open an opportunity. But I think it's important for people to understand that, we came out of bold faith, and on our own initiative, not out of, because we thought we were going to get something out of it. Does that make sense? And so we created this, yes, and what we're calling it now is the YOU universe of exceptional sisters, and we're going to create conferences from that. The first one is tentatively scheduled for June 13th, that weekend, somewhere in there. No details at all. It'll probably be in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. But we really want people to get what we got. Get this, have fun and love each other and without judgment and without strings attached, and just accept people where they are. It's a tremendous gift that we were able to do that. And I just don't even know what else to say other than yes.
No,
exceptional. Did we say exceptional? Anyway, we're still working on all of the words and the names of the group, and it was just, and I'll just say this: when intriguing opportunity presents itself, say yes. And that has been a tagline of mine for a few months. And so these ladies said yes, and men, Mr. Aldain, just said yes. And there's a lot, and I will add, there's a whole lot of other people that are on this journey with us that were not able to come with us on the trip, and that are joining and will join, because we've got something special, and we want people to experience it.
I wanted to state a few things that is very, very important. First of all, you all are now, honorary guests of China. You can come as you like, back and forward for the next 10 years, and, so you all are welcome to come as you like back to China. I think that's also a nice thing. Yeah. And also at the same time, it's what I try to tell to people all the time, is that, God told Noah to build the ark, okay? And Noah built the ark. And it was not God giving the ark to Noah and said, jump into the ark, you understand? And it's very important for people and to feel this inspired. If you want to do a change in the world, you have to take the first step to show that you're willing to sacrifice something, that you're willing to do something to change your life and change the lives of others, okay? And I think this is a very, very important thing. Many people focus too much of this thing that I want to do. I'm just going to show you a little picture just for the world to see what the thing that I've been always talking about. And basically this is a thing that we need to deal with, okay? Is basically this one here, okay? That everyone wants to, have the rapture, okay? I want to be raptured when it's the time for me to be raptured, okay? And the thing is this way, is that when we look at the world, we are like small goldfishes, okay? And we need, okay, to always feel that someone else has to rapture us and give us this new world, okay? In that new little fishbowl that we have. But it's still the same fishbowl, okay, a little bit bigger and cleaner maybe, and less populated. But at the same time, okay, we need to create this living thing. We need to learn how to co-live in the fishbowl. We need to learn how to, we as people can create and make our own fate and create our own future. Okay, and that is by doing the sacrifices and continuing in the struggle that we need to do to set humanity free. And so I think it's wonderful, you know, and this is a wonderful testimony that you people have given here for how you are following your heart and basically doing something to change your lives and the lives of others. And for that, I all congratulate you. And also, Radagast,
yes,
maybe if you're there, I wanted you, because I don't like talking about myself, maybe you can explain for the people a little bit about different spiritual consciousness and to see things and hear things and understand things that maybe other people can do. Okay.
Well, it is the consciousness that hears the message. And so when you were first bringing your message to people, almost 6 months ago, the consciousness that was tuning in was largely around money. That's what people heard. That's what people listened for. And when the message was going on and it wasn't more about money, the consciousness of certain people drifted away or even got aggressive. But the consciousness of the people who could hear about self-empowerment, about the sovereignty and self-responsibility of a world that we ourselves have constant input in and are a part of shaping. And, it's the consciousness, and it's really I feel it's the consciousness of the heart. I mean, there's a lot of times in a new age, everybody wants to go into 8th and 13th chakras, and I really believe that it's everything you need is in your heart, and listening with your heart will allow you to hear within the message that all of us share. Listening with your heart will let you hear the core message, which is self-empowerment, responsibility, and the dream. The dream is really about, being able to have our own world. But to self-govern in any way means to truly self-govern. Because without governing the self, there's no way that we can collectively govern. And it really is that sense of empowerment that takes one out of the victim role. I mean, you can have two people in the exact same place, and depending on the consciousness, one feels a victim, and the other one just feels like, oh, this is a bad situation, and I need to think my way out of it. And usually what you're going to do is you're going to look for allies. And that's when you start looking for the consciousness that can have the conversation with you. Because similarly, as when you go into really speaking about ideas and places, things from the heart, that really can't be faked. I mean, the conversation that flows from other parts of your being do not have the coherency. They don't have the richness of coming from your heart. And it's just, I'm through my own programs and through what we do, it's always about bringing up the consciousness to self-empowerment. And through self-empowerment, you can realize that you do need to build your own arc. I think in one of my earlier videos, I just spoke of, think of that somebody is ready to disperse all the water you would ever need, but you need to build a little reservoir or a pool to hold it. And it's just that whole part of being ready for the world that's coming, and that's all in our consciousness. And I really believe that consciousness is best focused within our hearts.
Mm-hmm.
And also, like I wanted to say is that, the problem is that when we go into the discussion about money and materialistic things, we have to look at all the things is an instrument. Okay. And basically, we can be in any form of situation, but is where our mind is, which is important. Okay. You can be, starving, you can be in tremendous trauma. Many people, doesn't know me as a person. Okay. Because I always used to say that it's not important who I am, is what the message that we try to give to the people. Okay. This is not about the egos. This is not about making yourself known and being famous. Okay, this is not the interest, and it's not the interest of becoming a ruler. It's becoming a servant to the people. And basically, this is the same thing. If you have a mindset that you're a servant to the Creator and you're servant to the other people around you, your mindset will change, and that shift and change will go, and then we will be ready to deal with the world. Because at this point of time, people doesn't want everyone to drive with a Bentley. People doesn't want everyone to have a BMW. People doesn't want everyone, because then many of these people that are not very handsome, okay, will not have anything to come with, okay. The elite wants to stay elite, and that's the reason why people, unfortunately, are not having the prosperity that everyone could have. People is criticizing communism, okay, and saying, oh, this is a terrible way, and capitalism is a great way, the American dream is a wonderful inspiration, okay. But at the same time, the same people, wants to have a free hospital. They want to have free, school. They want to have a social way that basically someone can help you if you fall, okay, if you get sick. People doesn't want to work 3 works a day and not having time to spend with their family. People wants to be able to actually have a family and not needed to raise our kids by the United States Army or similar thing and be traumatized for the rest of their lives. And it's important that people, rediscover in life what's important in life and what is really the true value in life. And that's family. And that's love, and that's trust, and that's respect, and that's what really creates the world that we want to have to do. And that's why, for example, we are now setting a way to inspire people, to empower people, but to work as a collective. Okay, and this is not about communism. Communism is a great idea. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with people. Yeah. And it's the same thing that people wants to establish, Islamic states or Christian states or whatever type of things. Unfortunately, it doesn't work with people, and we have to find the solution where we can find what's common. What is our common grounds, and work out of that and build a new world and a new humanity. Okay, and try to find what makes us all click together. Not what's the difference between us. We can find all bad things on people. It's so funny. Everyone can criticize me, can criticize Dave, can criticize you, can criticize everyone. It's very easy to find bad things about people. Try to find something good about people instead, okay, and reflect on that. And this program was to talk about the Yes Ladies, and we have now heard, the testimonies from them, and also from my great friend, from now my memory span is going down, from Virgin Islands, and Adain, yes, yeah. And so even me, I can lose my memory sometimes. I'm getting old.
Oh, you're not close to that yet.
Actually, there's a lot of people that these last days can probably give a testimony that I have been having some problems with remembering names. And, I think that's a part of my handicaps these days. But the thing is this way, I think it's great that we had this talk. And I think if you, Dave, want to say something also a little bit about the journey together with the Yes Ladies and the Yes Man.
Well, thank you, Mr. Ambassador. The ladies in Adain really described what was there. It was interesting how in a very short period of time, these people came together and we really experienced what we consider to be a divine assignment. People of diverse background, diverse races, very different points of view. And here we did, and we came together and we lived in a few hotel rooms for almost 3 weeks. There was harmony, there was peace, there was cohesiveness, there was no tension, there was no drama. And I want to say something about this gentleman that we jokingly had called the fairy godmother, because in so many ways, he is quite the opposite. And Mr. Ambassador, if I can describe what you had said about him, here was a man who had a background of being a Buddhist monk. So he had developed these very strong spiritual qualities. But he was also a gentleman that at a period of time in his life was a billionaire. He has lived the contrast of both. And the majority of these people who watch this program, they're here because they know that the family has this immense wealth, hoping that these funds will be dispersed. This gentleman that we referred to as the fairy godmother, a man of extreme, what I would call inner strength, a billionaire who had developed these very strong spiritual qualities that he radiated. He had a radiance about him, and we all saw that. Nobody even had to comment on it. It was after we were with him, we just turned to each other and it says, did you experience what we all experienced? He always had this joy about him. He had this radiance about him. He always had this absolutely wonderful smile. And you could tell he was a man that had no attachment whatsoever to the power of money, because he had been a billionaire in his life, and it wasn't something that it was important to him. He knew that the most important thing was that inner quality, that spiritual development that brings that sense of peace. And out of that becomes what we would consider to be the real true power. And we all experienced that. We all saw that. We were amazed at, here is a gentleman that to us is the prototype of what most of us want to become. Someone who understands and knows what it is to have immense wealth, but yet still understanding, on the other hand, life really is about that inner peace. And I think that reflects what we have here in this venture, the vision of true peace. True peace is always something that is within first. I got to be careful. I could keep going on all this, and this isn't my program today, and I'm just thankful for everything else that everybody else said. But I just, as all the others were talking, that's what kept coming to me, is that we were able to experience a gentleman who really epitomizes everything that we want in his life, our life. That true balance of taking wealth, immense wealth, because he was a billionaire, and yet is a man who was a strong, and he is truly a spiritual master in the right sense of that, of how to exude love, how to exude peace, and how to reflect that people around him just pick up on it immediately, and he doesn't even have to talk about it. He lives it, is what it is. So thank you for allowing me, Mr. Ambassador, to make up those, to allow to share those comments. So.
Very good, very good, very good, very good.
I want to say something, and it is that we are the ones that we always been waiting for.
Yes, we are. We are the ones to make the change. And what I want to suggest, and this is the way I've been trying to live my life recently, and really love. The way to make the change is to love the person in front of you, the next person, the counter, across the counter at the checkout stand. Love your neighbor, love your home, love, and pick up the trash. Do one thing that's at your passion. If your passion is about, for instance, veterans, go and do something for them in your area today. Just that's where we start making this change, this shift, by just loving the person in front of us. And it's, we hear the pay it forward, and a lot of times that's for the person behind you that doesn't even know. I like to try and, offer a special smile or gift or hug or something, a candy bar or something, even to the cashier or whoever is right here in front of us. Love that person unconditionally. See them perhaps without, as a little child, that, with their, whatever people say and do is so little about you, even. And if you remember not to take it personally, it certainly will make your life easier. What they say and do is mostly coming from them and not about you. So that's just something I think is pretty important. And I will, my show, the Charla A show, is what we came together to try and create a new format where it's more message driven and to complement the Sedona Connection and those people that Dave has in his workshops. There's so much incredible information, and Dave's workshop in Dallas is March 14th, DFW area. So please, there's still room there as far as I know. And then what he does is the information is so amazing. And then it seemed like we came together, the ladies come to me, and not just ladies, the people come to me, and we just have conversations while the conference is going on, during the breaks and stuff like that. And so my show is going to transition March 5th, this week, to a different format, more of how can we emotionally support ourselves and love ourselves through these shifts and changes, because it's crazy out there in this world. The 3D world is what I'm calling it. You know, people are scared and there's a lot of fear. And how can we love our friends and neighbors and family through this shift and change and help them on the emotional side as well as the educational side? So that's what the show, my show, the Charla A Show, Thursdays noon to 1 Central Time on the Radio Star Worldwide, the same place Dave's show is, Radio Star Worldwide every week. Anyway, I just want to know that will shift and change. You are invited to be on my show this week, Mr. Ambassador. We had a call. I've had a call. We've got a structure coming. I'm trying to get the things in place, websites and different things in place to absolutely cross-pollinate with Dave, the Sedona Connection, and TrueVisionOfPeace.com. So the whole point of my little show that God threw in my lap and I had no idea about a little over a year ago has now been the platform in a way for all of us to come together. So that's where I'm headed with that. And I would like to invite you on March 5th, if you can, to be on my show. And if not, we'll have one every week. So,
Charlotte, can I make just a really quick announcement? There is a lady that's here with this day. She hasn't said anything, and her name is Gwen Caldwell. And Gwen is going to be the guest on my program this Wednesday night. And as we have been doing all these workshops, we're talking about, upcoming projects. And a lot of people don't know how to put logistically everything together, forming their businesses. How do you do a business plan and stuff like that? Well, that's what Gwen is doing. And Gwen is starting a series of workshops. And I'm going to have Gwen as a guest on my program this Wednesday night. And what we're seeing is that all this is beginning to fall into place, because I've been the one who's been making these announcements, but I don't have time to do all of that logistical stuff. And then the next thing I know, Gwen pops up and she's already doing it. So we're finding that all the elements are beginning to fall into place, preparing all of us for the different roles that we just have and what we do. And so I know, Gwen, you're here somewhere. You may want to just pop in really quickly and just say hi.
Say hi and say your website.
Yeah,
hi.
Say hi, say your website, and I'll be posting a newsletter on Tuesday night and Wednesday morning, and that you're going to be my guest on my program on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I look forward to that, Dave. Thanks for the invitation. There's information at True Vision of Peace about the workshops, and also on my website, medicinehorsevillage.com. Just click the workshop links and you'll find all the information and registration information there.
Let me just say real quickly, Gwen, because I know some of the folks have asked about that. When you go to the True Vision for Peace website, click on our team, and then when you get there, in the right-hand column, you're going to see a link for seminars and workshops, and that's where you get the information for Gwen.
Correct.
Yep. Thanks, Dave.
Very good, very good. And also, I wanted to state something about, that you were saying, Charla, about the aggression and fear that people have. And, and I want people to take this into consideration. And I will just talk a little bit about it and allow Crystal to go a little bit deeper about that. Is that actually, we are what we are eating, okay? And, and the emotions of these animals that we are putting in our mouths basically are, feeding us with the same emotions that they had. And, we need to be more humane to the other species on this planet. And we are traumatizing them a lot, and they're very stressed before they are dying. And we are, butchering them in inhumane ways. And basically when we are eating these animals, their soul, their emotions is being transformed into us. And I believe that's one of the reasons why we, especially here in the West, that and around the world, that has this organized butchering industry, why we are so filled also with fear and hate and other things. And, and I want people to take that into consideration. and maybe also do something to actually, make the lives for the animals on this planet also more humane, and basically by putting some pressure on the corporations that basically are treating the other species on this planet so negatively, because that also affect the whole planet with a very, very negative vibration. You would like to say something about that, Crystal? You're more experts on this food things than me. I understand the concept of this, and this is why I refuse to eat certain things for many, many years, but and drink certain things. But if you could elaborate on that a little bit more.
Sure. We were talking about animals being slaughtered for food for humanity, and we were discussing about the fear and the trauma that the animals are going through before being brought to the slaughterhouse. And it is, well, come to think of it, it's pretty inhuman, really, when you think about just before an animal is being killed for food for human beings. You can imagine the trauma, the confusion, the hatred, the angst, everything, every emotion that you can think about that is so negative and dark and awful, it's there. And it stays in the bloodstream because it is the consciousness that gets into the DNA coding that forms there. And when it gets into the bloodstream, it gets into the flesh, it gets into what we finally eat as food. Don't you think it gets into our own bodies as well, and it gets into our own bloodstream, our own consciousness as well? That's why I reckon that humanity gets its aggression and its instability from those kinds of emotions that we are consuming as food. Well, that's how I became a vegetarian long time ago. And that was the time, I don't know, I guess it's the timing that I became a healer in those days. I guess that gets rid of the aggressiveness in my nature that we can see all around us. It comes from the food that we eat. You are what you eat. Ambassador, have I elaborated enough?
Exactly, and I could elaborate on that very much longer, and we should be continue to do this program for another 30 minutes. But we will bring up this subject at a special program just dealing with emotions related to how we have to treat, because this project of true peace is to finding peace within and peace without, and also peace with other entities on this planet. And I think it's very important to to try to build up this new consciousness in people. And, this is a living testimony. We have people at this program from all over the place. We're representing different form of faiths, and, we can still sit here and work together without feeling any trauma, without feeling any problem. And, it's like Dave was stating, the God Fairy Mother, or whatever we want to call him as a code name now, is, this person used to, and still is a monk, and still in his heart, he's, a very devoted Muslim, Muslim, I say Buddhist. And the same thing is you have other people that is from, from Islam, you have people from Christianity, you have people from different forms of faiths, and how can we in Judaism, how can we work together, okay, without any trauma, without any problem? How can we live together? How can we be together the way that we are, and without needing to feel aggression and problems and things like that? And that's, is a testimony that we can do that on a bigger scale too. And, the war on ignorance is so important, because the reason why people are that traumatized, why they have this emotion, is because of the ignorance that we have in our societies. And, if we are educating people, if we are inspiring people the truth, and we are living the way we preach, then basically we will have no need for any wars or trauma that we have in the world today. So it's very important to put that into focus, okay? And, and I want to thank everyone that has been online with this. And also we have Jay's from with us also online from South America now. Basically, we have almost all the 5 continents represented on the call here today too. And she had been working with the peace village situation, which we will present later, and the concept of creating a city that can contain over 1 million people, and the full structure that we will later on present for the world. And she's been a part of bringing that together and working with me and the others with that. And maybe you would like to share something short about that also.
Sure. Thank you, Ambassador. It's a pleasure to be here with you guys, and a pleasure meeting you guys as well. Yes, it's really exciting to put together this city where we're going to be able to bring people that have a heart to serve humanity, and to really bring awareness at these times that there's just so much deception and ignorance in the world. And it's exciting to bring the teams together that will be facilitating on whatever level really somebody is in their search for truth and their path to be an enlightened being, for them to recognize that we're all these amazing supernatural beings, and that we're here to love one another and to take care of this planet. And I think that with all the catastrophes that have been happening in the last few decades, right, with Chernobyl, and then now we have Fukushima, that's devastating our Pacific Ocean and the life in that area of the world, and besides everything else that's happening in the world just among humanity, right? But it's for me such an honor and a privilege to be able to work with people who have opened their hearts to feel the pain that the world is feeling on all levels, and for us to come together and unite with this one intention to really serve in everything that God has created so beautifully, and to take that back for a higher purpose. And the more that we're able to live our higher, connect with a higher self, the more that we become selfless in the process, and we're really able to contribute to what we're designed to do originally, right? And come together as one to fulfill that mission. So thank you, Ambassador.
Yeah. And also I wanted just to elaborate very shortly on brief facts before we end in this calls, because you brought something to our attention talking about Chernobyl and unfortunately Fukushima that's happening now. But it's very interesting to see that, of all the creations on the planet, we are the one that basically doesn't fulfill any function in the ecosystem. Okay? And, some of these disasters like Chernobyl basically made us, have to leave certain areas. And there basically now the animal and the flora is flourishing like ever before, okay? And endangered species is basically popping up and being reborn by the non-presence of humanity. And even, the demilitarized zone between North Korea and South Korea even has is having a wildlife of a real, the Korean tigers and all these other animals and fauna that, has disappeared on anywhere else, okay? Just because of the fact that humans are, keeping themselves away from the area. And I think we should put that into the focus that, we are probably the most destructive force on the planet, and we need to be contained, and we need to be enlightened, and we need to learn to live with each other and with other God's creations, and not to go into the same mistake as the past civilizations that was before us on this planet. Okay, so I want to thank everyone for being here together with us. Okay, and it's wonderful to see that a living testimony of a true peace with yes ladies, and with all the other ones that has been online. I want to thank you. And this is I don't know how long this recording was, okay, but the ones that's following Dave's programs are used for 2-hour programs. So, I think that this is probably not 2 hours at least. But, it was very nice that we all could sit here and talk, and also that people could see, the faces and of the people that has been on the journey. And this is what I stated in the past, in the beginning, don't listen to what we are saying, except to see it by yourself and to see the actions. And, this is people that has done the journey, that has seen the people, that has met the people, that has done what is needed to do the shift and change in their own lives and to be a part of a new future. And so I want to congratulate you all for all your sacrifices that you've done for yourself, for your families, and for the other people on this planet. And thank you everyone to come to this program. And, it's a little bit new for me to host the call. We have to make, arrangement with someone that is more professional than me to do it. And we know that, Dave is, master on it, and Ron is, is very skilled in that too. I'm not, this is not my cup of tea. I'm usually being asked questions, not leading programs. But I want to thank you everyone for taking the time, and God bless you all. Okay.
Mr. Ambassador, I have to say, can I say two things?
Yes.
One is we are so much more alike than we are different. Everyone is a human being created by God and loved by God as we are. And, when we start looking, and you'd already said, when we start really looking at the similarities, the things that we're 99% the same. There's just a few things that are different, or maybe 95, I don't know. But, and just to love people because God did create them, if that's the only thing you can find to love about them. And secondly, I am not a vegetarian, and I agree about the humanitarian treatment of the animals, but I wanted to just say that too. And even though I do eat meat, I still feel like I have a lot of peace coming from my soul too. So but that's a very interesting conversation, especially with Crystal. I would like to discuss that more.
Hey, I have to say, Charla lives in Fort Worth, Texas. Its nickname is Cowtown, USA. It's the cow steak center, hamburger meat cow center of America. I do. Well, you do too. We like our meat, and that's okay. I don't think that there's anything morally wrong with having that. I just think that each person has his own choice. But
that's why
the slaughterhouses is the problem. The slaughterhouses is a problem. So I get.
That's why I wanted to add. I didn't quite finish. Actually, I wanted to add that we each have our own blood types, and we have come as different choices for food. So there are people who their body needs to have meat. There are people who can do vegetarianism, and some people can't. So it's perfectly all right. There are people who choose to be breatharians as well, no food. Okay. So we all are different. I'm not saying that it's bad to do that. Ambassador just so happened to talk about the how it gets into the bloodstream and how it gets into consciousness. So it's not.
No, I agree. I agree with
anyone. It's what there's no judgment here. Yeah. And I would say that there are methods of being kind to animals before they are being sacrificed for food. That I actually related an incident during our meetings that when I was walking across a farm and all the cows were coming near to the fence where I was standing, and I just suddenly had the impulsive feeling of wanting to do a prayer for them and asking God to release their souls just before they were being slaughtered, so they don't feel the pain and the aggression and the confusion and the anger and the frustration. All these feelings will then be taken off. And once their souls leave their bodies, it's just a physical body that is being slaughtered without the consciousness. So that's what I can say. Thank you.
I don't. There's no judgment whatsoever. It's just we each have our own, our own way.
No, I think the problem is that, as I wanted to reflect on, is that we are what we eat. And what I'm stating with that is that if we're changing the way that we are processing the food, okay, and we're saying inhumane, okay, humans are not even humane to their other human brothers and sisters, okay. We are the only species that purposely poison our own kids, and basically, as I was teaching you guys when you were in China, when I was explaining about consciousness, that basically it's like the world is like being married with a man that you love, and then you find out that he had another wife and other children, by your side for all these years, but since you were not conscious about it, you were still living in your own utopia and fantasy land of happiness, but you still were happy. That emotion was not fake. You still felt happy. And I mean, this is a little bit how we are living our lives. We don't see the food that we are eating. We are eating it. And the thing is that what we need to do is to realize and put pressure on the corporations, because when you slaughter animals, like she was just referring to, Crystal, in a humane way. Now, this is no humane ways to kill anything, I believe. But as I stated, if you do it with respect for our species and don't put it through too much trauma, this trauma will not follow with the food. And if you see how food is being processed in the United States, in Europe, and in China and other places of the world, when it's industrial butchering, these animals is through trauma since the seconds they came into out. If it's done, I have seen like farming experiments where, the animals living on a farm and, they're having quite nice things, and the people go in and, kindly, treat the animal before they actually kill the animal. And the food, is totally different. The meat is even structured differently, it tastes differently. The whole thing is complete different, okay? And the emotions of the people eating this type of food is also different. So we have done some research on it when we know that it's true. Now, unfortunately, it's all about money. And when it's all about money, no one cares about the emotions of animals or emotion about anyone. People doesn't even care about how people live or what they put all type of poison into our foods. And, we have to take away that and keep ourselves conscious and find peace. As this is not that I'm, like I stated before, I'm not here to moralize people about what they should, if they should eat meat or not eat meat. I eat meat myself too, but I decide to eat certain animals and not other animals. But, the thing is this way, the main important thing here is, like I stated, is to try to create a consciousness and pressure to actually deal with animal in a more humane way. And maybe it's not that profitable, but at the same time, we will have less stress with our own consciousness and with our own inner selves if we do it in the right way. Okay? So that's basically what I wanted to state. And so, we have to be bridge builders between consciousness. And like I stated, it's not impressive to change a good person to be a good person. It's more impressive to change an alcoholic or a drug addict or a bad person to become good. And to do the reflection in the mirror that we so much all need to do, and try to find peace within and peace with others. That's basically what we're gonna create, a true vision of peace, and that's what we're all working together to do. And by putting people out of ignorance and basically inspiring people to do the right choices in life, I think we're going to be able to create a much better planet, that both for ourselves and for other species on this planet.
Yes.
So the last thing is, the Miss Universe always says, the beauty contestants always says they want world peace. And I always, so when we come back from China, and it's like, well, what did you do there? And it's like, we're working on world peace, literally. And it's kind of hard concept for people to get. I don't know what else to say to them, but that's really what we're doing. And it's, and I thank you, Mr. Ambassador, because it has been your vision. And I know Crystal is working diligently and getting all of you guys, getting the structure for this true vision of peace. And we all have always wanted it and thought we, would never see it, but I believe that we are going to see it.
Mm-hmm.
No, very good, very good. And I believe, and also this true vision of Please is a platform for everyone. And I invite everyone that basically wants to work together to create a better planet. You know, this is a platform which we will use to do so. It's not caring about religious backgrounds. It doesn't care. We are not pushing any particular lifestyle or religion on anyone. We want to unify and work together to create a better planet. Doesn't matter where you're from or which race you're from. We are here to unify and work together as one humanity and create a consciousness and promote technologies and promote a better lifestyle for ourselves and for our children. Mm-hmm. And I want everyone to be able to tell their children later on that we at least tried our best and this is what we are doing. And I hope that we will be successful. I believe that we will, because we are all struggling within and also on the outside, and that's why we are doing this program here. And you know, I think that you know, people should look at what we are doing here. People, of course, they're always having you know, positive and negative comments about everything, but you know, at least we are trying, and I think that's something that they should do too, and instead of whining. And so, you know, this is the thing that I think this is a good inspiration. And you know, that you've been setting up this platform together with all these wonderful people to try to inspire and help the people. And you know, normally when I watching, you know, it was quite many years ago, I was watching Miss Universe contest, but you know, I was never really, to be honest with you, so much focused about their comments. But you know, but at the same time, you know, I mean, it's a part of a programming and the war on ignorance. We should, you know, try to have a contest maybe of inner beauty instead of external beauty.
Amen.
Thank you.
Yeah. So basically, this is my opinion. Okay, so I want to thank everyone that was there, and I look forward to meet you all very soon again, and in person. And let's dance some cha-cha next time. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for hosting us today.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.